Hey guys, how you doing? Berserker here again with another manga recommendation, and today I got a special one for you guys, an incredibly underrated manga called Wagana wa Imushi. Now, what is this manga about? This manga is a seinen manga about ship salvers. Now, what are ship salvers? Ship salvers are the one responsible for towing wrecked ships and also towing and safely extracting their cargo. Now, unlike rescue ships, ship salvers ask for money, and a lot, if not most of them, do some really underhanded tactics so they can squeeze all the money that they can from the ship captains and the ship owners. Now, from just hearing this premise, I'm sure most of you can imagine a lot of interesting scenarios that can be written with this premise to show the really brutal capitalist nature of modern Japan, the greed of humans, like what matters more, human lives or like human property or like making money. So you can really imagine a lot of interesting scenarios that can happen just from this premise alone. Now, this manga revolves around the main character, Rintaro Namba, and this character's dream was always to work as a member of the Coast Guard so he can save lives. As because of an incident that happened to him in his childhood, he grew up very idealistic, just hating money and always wanting to do the right thing for humanity. So he felt that joining the Coast Guard would be the best option to fulfill his life purpose. But then suddenly he gets shocked by the news of the death of his father. Now, his father owned a salvaging company. His salvaging company, however, had many financial issues. It had a debt with over 1 billion yen. And the ship that was used to salvage other ship that his father's company owned was not very good. And so this company didn't really get that many clients. So when he first heard about his father's death, he went to the company's headquarters and he found the employees were a bunch of very colorful individuals, which I'm gonna get to when I'm gonna talk about what makes this manga great. A lot of interesting characters that are fun, that have deep, complex motivations that are just worth reading the manga just to see their interactions with other characters and just to see their character arcs get fulfilled. Anyway, a friend of his father and a coworker offers him to take over his father's business because unless he doesn't do that, like, the company is gonna close. At first he says no because like I said, he absolutely hates the opportunist work of ship salvers. But then some events and incidents transpire in the manga that I'm not gonna spoil, which make him change his mind, and then he sets out to work as a ship salver, but he sets out to work as a humanistic ship salver, not doing it for money but to help other people. Now, what makes this manga so good? What makes it so special? What makes it worth my recommendation? First, I have to talk about the premise. This is one of the most down-to-earth, realistic premises I have ever read in a seinen manga. There are no fantasy dragons here, or a crazy sci-fi plots, or some insane mafia boss, because even when it's realistic, it's often not realistic. You have this karate master or kung fu master, or this like a guy that works with the yakuza using depths to control people and traffic them. It's like really out there situation that can make it hard for you to identify with the characters because it's just so unrealistic. But the case with salvaging companies, they are realistic, they actually happen, and so that adds a whole nother layer of realism to the story. The second reason why this manga is amazing is simply the situations that the salvaging company creates, like, are perfect for a seinen manga. Like I said, first, there's this manga explores the concepts of greed and human life, like what's more precious, because a lot of the times the characters have to make some really tough decisions, whether to save this guy or to save that guy, or to save this ship or save that ship. Which creates absolutely tense situations, and then the characters trying to justify their decisions, they get into these really deep philosophical questions, which just like, that's the best stuff seinen manga has to offer. It's like why we read seinen manga in the first place. And the third reason why this manga is really good is the art. The art is absolutely gorgeous. Not only from the details of the ships, the details of the character, the details of the sea. A lot of the times the salvagers have to dive really deep into the sea so they can salvage the ship, and everything is just so dark, and there's nothing but the divers and the darkness of the ocean, and that creates a really nihilistic feeling, that just creates a cold in your chest that almost no other manga can replicate. It's almost like a Lovecraftian feeling, which makes and heightens the seinen elements, the depressing seinen elements of this manga even more. And to add to all of the things that I previously mentioned, the characters are absolutely great. Nanba and all his co-workers are great. He has a female co-worker that has a very special story of why she joined the salvaging team. Incredibly complex, really well written, great interactions, and of course it doesn't hurt to mention that the author wrote her and drew her really hot. So yeah, there's some good fan service in there as well. But you know, this is a deep seinen manga, so that really shouldn't matter that much. Of course, he has like another male co-worker, very good, incredible like backstory, a very interesting character. And plus, on top of all of this, this manga has actual romance, and the romance, unlike most romances in Japanese manga, which are absolutely horrible, like most mangakas like absolutely fail at writing realistic romance stories. I mean, just look at the shoujo genre. There's a romance in this manga, and it's actually good, and it's actually believable, and it's held, I dare I say, cute. So yeah, and not only that, like the situations where the salvaging company has to go and save other ships are incredibly imaginative. I really don't want to spoil anything, but sometimes it's just about like World War II events, sometimes it's about simple fishing boats, and sometimes it involves like nuclear countries and armies and nuclear submarines gets involved. Like it's really amazing, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Like the psychological wear and tear that the characters you know, face while trying to salvage these ships while being like hundreds of feet below water is great. It's really tense. The character interactions are great. The art is great. It's just all this is all around an absolutely solid seinen manga, and it really should be noticed more, and you should have the recognition it deserves. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's the review. Like the video if you didn't, subscribe for more videos, and do check out this manga. It's really good.